jump. What a rocket. Hi guys, welcome back to our jetboarding show, Ask Me Everything. Today we have the honor to meet Philip Werner, the President and Chief Innovator of Awake Ravik from Sweden.
Hello Philip and welcome to our show. As you know, we did a full test of old Awake Ravik last year in Portugal. It was really great to test the model, but unfortunately we didn't have your team. So finally it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice to meet you as well.
So Sweden is such an amazing country, and it always surprises me that so many companies are making jetboards in Sweden. And why is that? How did the surf culture come to Sweden, and why did you decide to make a jetboard?
Yeah, I might be a bit responsible for that, I think. Basically, it started when I was younger, and I did a lot of wakeboarding, competing a bit, doing competitions, etc. And I always had this idea that I got a little bit frustrated because I wanted to go wakeboarding all the time, and my friends eventually they got bored of it and wanted to, oh come on, let's go play computer games, and I got a little bit frustrated, and I guess that's why I then later made a prototype. But when I was a bit younger, I was studying at Lund University, and then I made this first prototype as you get in Sweden, you get this kind of student loan, and I got a grant, and I saw one of the summer. I usually had like summer work, but then I got this grant, which meant that I got about the same amount as that student loan to make your own project basically. And then one summer I was actually building my first prototype. I was like 2012. At my parents' basement, and that was actually played, you know, Ravik. The name Ravik is actually that little bay close to where they live there. So that's where I started trying my first prototype many years ago.
Awesome. And last year we tested the model, original model of Ravik.
Yeah.
It was really fast, it was powerful, and I saw it won several design awards. So good job on that. However, to be honest, it was very narrow, and it was pretty hard for us to turn and to do sharp turns and maneuvers. And I know this year you're finally introducing the new model called Ravik S. So can you show me? I see it behind you. And what's the difference?
We have it over here. So this is the Awake Ravik S. They're both great products. I would say the Ravik is a bit more stable, a little bit easier to learn, and it plans a little bit on a bit lower speed. However, this Awake Ravik is it's an amazing carving machine. You know, it's you can carve. You know, it's not really the board that limits you anymore. It's basically just yourself. So you can carve down all the way to the surface of the water, and it has a really good edge grip. You can. It's also a lot of fun on jumping with. So we're actually doing some freestyle training with it at the moment behind boats, but we've also tried it in waves, etc. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so behind you in the middle, it's original one, right? Yeah. And on the side is Ravik S.
Yeah, exactly.
So the size is the same, the length?
The Ravik S is a bit shorter, slightly shorter and slimmer. And also the rear, it has a lot less volume than the original Ravik. So the original is a bit easier for beginners than the S, I would say, but it's still quite easy for beginners as well. Like we've had several people demoing the S board now that never stood on a board before, so it's quite alright as well. But yeah, the original is slightly easier.
And the battery is the same?
Yeah, same battery, same system. Yeah.
And where is the magnet on the new model? The security magnet?
Yeah, so the security magnet is on the same position as in the front here as on the original Ravik. So we basically the system is quite modular, so we can use the similar system to that board and that board. At the moment it's only the hull that's the difference. However, we are it is going to be some exciting stuff coming to both of the boards, so very soon. So you'll see some exciting news soon.
So the weight of electric jetboards is always a big issue, and let me know your boards are also heavy like other electric jet boards. It's inevitable with electric battery being so heavy.
Yeah.
So what's done to help the customer to carry the board? Maybe you have wheels. What's the idea?
Yeah, well, we have actually the board is I think this is probably the lightest performance electric board on the market at the moment. So it is 35 kilos with battery. If you take out the battery, it's 19 kilos. So and 16 kilo of battery. So it's like either you can. There's actually a kind of a grip on in the center inside where you can hold it in one hand about the board and then take the battery in the other hand. It's one option. Which makes it easier to carry. But we also have we also have a board bag where we have wheels, quite big wheels attached. So you can, if you're gonna want to walk a longer distance, it's pretty convenient. So you can actually pack in everything you want. You can pack your battery board, you can pack your wetsuits, etc., in that bag, and then just carry it around over if you're gonna walk a longer distance.
But still, I see the battery is always the heaviest part of any jet board. And do you see the technology changing anytime in the future to make it lighter?
It is getting better, but of course there's also, like, if you want to have in the battery, it also adds a lot of weight with all the safety features. If you want to have passive cooling all over the battery. And it's pretty hard to make a very light battery without these safety features. So yeah, it is going to be lighter, definitely, in the future. But I'll guess it's going to take a few more years until we see like a radical change. Like it's all dependent on the automotive industry and other areas, because you don't want to just try the new like batteries until it's well tested. Like as soon as you see that like the automotive industry is using something better, yeah, then you jump on it. But you wouldn't want to try something new until it's well tested. We probably will have it in our prototypes early, but you know, we have a long testing phase before launching something into the market. So it needs to be thoroughly tested before.
And maybe you can show us the battery. I know it's a very unusual way of connecting it. You have backstrap attached to the battery, I think.
It's very easy. So you just bring it up like this. And I put it in the entrance. Yeah, very, very easy.
So the front strap is attached to the battery, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the front is attached and then just lean it in and one hand movement. So it's pretty convenient.
Pretty cool. And same way you just plug and play into the charger. So it's
exactly.
Really easy. There are no cables to connect.
Yeah, we want to try make everything like easy plug and play. Basically, it's an advanced system, but it should be easy for the user to use. That's the idea.
I really like the quality of your board, because we saw and we had a chance to compare it to the other boards, especially the ones made in China. It's just really a huge difference, especially if you see it in person. But let's be honest, your board is not cheap, and it's probably one of the most expensive on the market. Yeah. So how do you see which part making it so expensive, and what's your main goal? What's your target market for this board?
So yeah, basically it's all about quality, using the best material there should be. It's about making materials so the product should last in a very long time. It's about safety features. There's a lot of things that adds up on the cost if you want to make a like really nice design safe board. Yeah, and then it's also about performance. If you want to have a system that is both lightweight and high performance and actually reliable as well, you know, you can push the system for a short time and then it gets overheated if you make a bad system. But if you want to make a system that doesn't get overheated, can run anywhere, you can, you know, this motor is very powerful. You can run the boat with it, so it's a lot of power.
And do you have remote control around?
Yeah, I do. This is our hand control. So what you do is just put this floating wrist strap on, and then you have it on your hand. And it's it's designed to get your control through the thumbs, which is a good way of basically have a good control. But also if you're moving, jumping, etc. But also it's good for if you want to climb up on the board. You can still grab things with your hand like this when having a hand control like this. So you can still accelerate and grab it at the same time. which is pretty convenient because usually when when you start the board, you grab this front handle, and which is an easy way to start. You have this hand and the hand controller here, and you get yourself up on the board. So it's yeah, pretty convenient.
Very interesting the way you decided to make it. You know, in other products, it's usually like a gun, you know, with the pointing finger. Yeah, and here you have with a thumb.
Yeah. No, we tested. We had in the beginning. We've had a lot of we tested many different ways of having it, but we definitely feel like if you wanna, it's fine with like the regular control. If you just play around, if you cruise around, but if you want to jump, you're going to have control. So much nicer with this system.
All right, I see. So what's the ideal place to ride your board? You're looking like flat lake, rental stations, so wave jumping, canyon riding, cruising?
It depends on who's riding, I would say. I prefer a lot of waves. Either behind the big boat, jump the boat waves, or surf waves, like big surf waves. So that's my preparation. But it's always, of course, nice if it's flat lake where you can do just like you get this nice butter feeling in the water. It's very nice.
And you have like several modes on your remote control, like speed modes for beginners, radical mode. Tell me about that.
Changes on our app. You can set the board for your own preference, which is also good. Like, let's say if you have kids, you don't want them to play with the hand control and then reach too high speeds, or someone younger. So, and of course, if you have kids, you should always have a parent with you. Never ride alone, of course.
And are you putting a leash on it or not?
Yes, we do. So we have this leash in the front, which is we designed it so that you can get it in your head without hurting yourself, which could be a problem with leashes. So yeah, you just plug it here in the front, and then it's ready to go.
And you mentioned you're using it in the waves as well. Can you actually sit on the board? Is it safe to just be sitting?
Yeah, like the Awake Ravik floats pretty well. The other one floats alright. You can sit in, like, if you're surfing and you're on a lineup. It's the similar feeling with the S-board. You're just sitting it. You have the front up there, and then waiting for it, and you just go.
Perfect. And what riding time do you get?
It really depends on how you ride it. Like if you're riding in a planning speed, you can go pretty far. Like I think our record is about 8 kilometers ride. And but it also always depends on how you ride it. I can push it if I push it hard, especially the S-board, and do crazy turns. I can push it under 20 minutes. So,
is it? Do you have an indicator like telling us that the power getting lower now? It should come back.
Yes, we do. We have our indicator on the front, but also now we've upgraded software a bit, so that you really get notified when you're getting close to shore. So we have you basically ride, and then in the end it goes slower. It gets a little bit more boring. It gets boring, and then we have a final really slow way, so you can actually get yourself back to the last instance. So that helps people if they even if they don't look at the battery level. It's gonna get boring, and then in the last step, it's gonna be really boring. You have to lay on your stomach and go back to the last part. So that's a thing.
Perfect. So now you have 2 models, and I know planning to expand in future. And I see now also e-foils are becoming very popular. So what's your plan for the future?
Yeah, we have been experimenting some, but we have several, actually a few really exciting projects going on. So yeah, we'll see which one hits the market first.
Very interesting. I see more and more dealers now in Europe offering Awake.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have a great dealer network supporting us in Europe, and we're actually opening up in the US very soon as well. So starting a US subsidiary at the moment, so it's going to be exciting.
And are you producing them in Sweden or in different countries?
We have a factory in Limhamn, and we have a really good machine park with some like 13.5-ton machines, etc. So which is very nice. When we're developing the products, we also have the machines so that we we know how we can optimize the design, etc. And it's easy for us to do updates. So yeah, like development is very good for us. We have a great team of really good engineers from all over the world, and we have a great production team and a machine park that makes it enables us to bring up prototypes and new products very fast. So but then of course it's always the challenge to, you know, making a prototype is very easy, but making a working prototype is also easy, but the hard challenge is to make it working production product. That's the big challenge, definitely. So that's always the thing you have to put a lot of energy into.
All right, and finally, with all the coronavirus craziness, I know different countries deal with it differently, and Sweden was one of the most conservative. We didn't close anything, and seems like it's been a right way to go. We'll see. But how did it influence the production and your shipping?
Like, I would say the first and second month everyone was a little bit shaky. You can feel it around it with the suppliers, with retailers, etc. But yeah, actually, after a while, everyone realized it's going to be summer. So we've actually had we have a lot of sales now, and we're working hard in production. We actually had, I think last week was both our sales record week and the production record week. So we're increasing production as much as we can now, and scaling up as much as we can in a good phase. So yeah, it's working really well for us.
So what's usual waiting time after the people place an order to get in the board actually?
Yeah, it depends, of course, on what time of the year and how big our backlog is. We are aiming to have boards in stock, but that's not the case at the moment. We have quite a big backlog, especially with the last week's orders. So it's for the regular Awake original Ravik, we have it's about 4 or 5 weeks delivery time at the moment, and the S is a few weeks more.
And do they go at different prices or the same price?
So the S board is €1,000 more expensive than the original board. So it's almost.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Wishing you a successful season.
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to be able to ride with you soon as well when things are opening up a bit more. So
yeah, I hope to see you in Portugal.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Actually, I like Portugal. It's great surfing there.
All right. Take care. Cheers.
Yes.
Bye.